Okay, we will go ahead and get started. Thank you, everyone, for joining our August Be Well Lunch and Learn titled Time Management. So excited to have Michelle Zellner joining us again, who represents SupportLink, our employee assistance program. Before passing this over to her, just two reminders. The first being that we do record these, so if you're unable to stay for the entire time, we will send a follow-up email with both the slides and the recording for you to view at a later time. And then second, if you have any questions or comments, concerns, feel free to use the chat box or the Q&A feature. Michelle loves an interactive audience, and it always just makes things so much better and more fun. So feel free to use those features to communicate with us. With that, I will pass this over to Michelle. Thanks so much for being here.
Well, thank you, Angela. Lovely to be here with all of you again today. Just a quick intro. My name is Michelle Zellner. I have a business called Better Beings and just started my 29th year of helping people be better human beings, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Very proud to partner with your EAP to get to chat with all of you on these topics. I do love an interactive audience, so hopefully we'll get lots of great engagement on this topic today. Before we dive in, I like to ask all of you a question, maybe get the ball rolling. If you had to give yourself a score on how an effective manager of time you are, 0, I have 0 time management skills at all. 10, I am the Olympic gold medal champion of time management, cannot imagine doing it any better. Where would you say you are today? If you are something other than a 10, hopefully we will give you some tips, tools, tricks, inspiration, ideas, information, whatever it is to help move that score a little closer to the 10. Thank you. Lots of engagement as per usual with this group. I love it. Let's see. We have everything from a 2 to an 8, I think. Oh, another 2. All right. Excellent. Well, good news. You're going to be able to move that score. Now, I'm going to give you ideas. I can't do the work for you, however, you have to do the do. So let's talk about what this even means, what it looks like. I think we kind of intuitively know, right? What time management is. When I think of time management, I just evaluate all the things that I need to do, want to do, should do, have to do, these words that we use, sometimes not super helpful. The things I intend to do, the accomplishments I want to achieve. And I think, okay, well, I have 24 hours in a day. I have 7 days in a week. I have 12 months in a year. I don't know how many years of my life I have. I'm not sure. But I'm going to do the best I can to dole out my time as well as my energy and my money in ways that matter, in ways that align with what I say is important. So you think about where you are in life today, and where you are in life today is different from where you were last year, 5 years ago, maybe even different from where you were yesterday. And it's going to be different next week, next year, 10 years from now. So I really think time management is the ability to evaluate and determine how to utilize my resources in the way that it's going to provide the most impact, right? And that is going to change. It's going to change with things you're trying to accomplish. It's going to change as we have different things going on in life. How many moving parts you have in life is going to play a huge role, right? If your life is super simple, probably easier to get all the things done. If your life is very, very complicated, it's going to be a lot more difficult. And this is the nature of it. So I always like people to appreciate that your reality is your reality. You may be able to do some things to tweak your reality, but it's good to acknowledge where you are so that we can then figure out, okay, what am I willing and able to do? I think this is a good uh, graphic here to maybe let us have a little bit of awareness and appreciation. I think most people use both left brain and right brain. Maybe use one a little more for certain tasks and another one for other things in life. I think the person who has maybe that Olympic gold medal champion standard is probably very integrated with their left brain and right brain skills. Neither one of these is good or bad. Not one is better than the other. They're both really important. They both have very useful components to it. And if we are too heavily invested in one of them, it can also be one of the obstacles that prevents us from being the most effective managers of our time. So far, I don't think I saw any tens. So the question then would be, what is the issue for you with time management? What's the issue? What is your obstacle? There are lots of obstacles to why we maybe don't get things done or don't accomplish what we want to or what we think we should. I think all of these components are critical, and you might really be super locked into one of these components or two of these components, but perhaps there's a couple that you're not great at. I have a friend who is awesome at planning, horrible at implementing. Like, right, you got to do the do, right? And so it's working on each of these components so that they all start to harmonize and really help get you to where you want to be. I think distraction, that's the number one thing I'm getting when it says obstacles. Um, each person identify your obstacles. I know for me, the obstacle is different depending on exactly what it is that we're talking about. So that's another sense of awareness, right? Being very aware of what your challenges with time management happen to be. I for sure find these two to be also foundational. Either you're really good at them, or if you're not, this is why we don't get things done. You've probably heard those who fail to plan to fail. When I think about the planning, I even just visualize like growing up, my dad with put together furniture. Put together furniture, you got to put it together. Uh, Oh my gosh, he is so methodical. He will lay everything out just like the instructions tell you to do. He'll count all the pieces. He'll read through the entire set of instructions before he even starts anything. And my dad, like he's an engineer, he could probably just whip that thing together, no problem. But he goes through and makes sure of everything first. Me, I'm like, I don't have time. I think this probably goes here and that goes there and this, and then I have a piece that I put in backwards or that I forgot to put in that needed to be put in. Well, guess who gets the task done more quickly? Yeah, that would be my dad. So you spend time on the front end, I promise you, you are going to save time, energy, stress, frustration, probably some money on the back end. This is a big part of being successful. And then prioritizing, right? Now, not everything can be a priority. When I think about it like a stove, there are only two front burners. That's it, in my stove anyway. I know some people have fancy dancy ones with 6 and 8 burners. Mine just has two. Not everything can get the front burner. It doesn't mean that the other parts of the meal aren't important. They just don't get the front burner. So we got to figure out how to prioritize our things. You might have heard of the urgency importance matrix. It's one of my favorite tools to help, again, kind of put things right in front of you. So if you have a piece of paper, you can just easily draw this. Just draw a line going down and going across. So you have 4 quadrants. At the lower left, draw an arrow pointing up, and along that side, write urgent. And then in the lower left, draw an arrow going towards the right. And then along that, write importance. And then you're just going to fill them in, right? So the top right quadrant is urgent because it's at top, and it's important because it's over to the right. Urgent and important. You should do those things now. You, because they're important, or maybe not you, but the person with the greatest ability for that particular task. Maybe it's not you. Maybe there's somebody else who's better at that skill, or who has more capacity or threshold for that task. But it should be done now because it's important and it's urgent, right? Urgent, but not important. So it's urgent, so it needs to be done now. And maybe you can delegate it. Maybe you have a whole bunch of people who have the capability of doing these things. Doesn't have to be the person who's the best of the best of the best at everything. Just has to be somebody who has the capability of doing it. Uh, the bottom left, it is not urgent, so you're going to do it later, but it's important. So you or whoever has the greatest capacity, skills, talents to do it, but it's not urgent, so it can be done later, but it needs to be aware to get it done. And then the bottom right quadrant, not urgent, not important. Why are we spending time on it? Or maybe, yes, a little bit of time, but are we giving it way too much time and attention? I find a lot of reasons why we don't get things done is because we're spending a lot of energy and output in things that are in that lower quadrant. So you want to evaluate for yourself, I think, even in general, what are your goals, values, priorities, and principles? That should be a good starting point with how you are going to determine how you're going to spend your precious resources, your time, your money, and your energy. If you haven't clarified for yourself what those things are, then we're just kind of frittering about, right? We're like a little willy-nilly, impulsively spending our things. And that's when we feel distracted, unaccomplished, stressed. We feel like, oh, I wish I would have done that. I don't know if any of you have gotten to that place in life or at points of the year. Oh, I wish I would have done that. Oh, yeah, I probably should have done that. I could have done that. Woulda, coulda, shoulda land, yuckiest place to be. I've been there. And that for me was too many times of like, oh, I wish I would have. Ding, ding, ding. Like, guess what? You can stop saying, I wish I would have if you actually plan and prioritize and set out about intentionally. I learned this many years ago. I went to school in Hawaii, planned on doing that since I was 8 years old. Like that's where I was going to live and all the things that Hawaii has to offer. And it's amazing. But it wasn't until I knew I was leaving, I was going to go to grad school in Boulder. And I had 6 months left of Hawaii. And I thought, but wait, there's a whole bunch of things I haven't done that I was going to do. How did 4 years go by? Well, 4 years went by because, you just start falling into life. So I was very dedicated to getting these things done in those 6 months, and I got them done. And all along the way, I thought, oh, yeah, this would have been nice to have done 2 years ago so that I could have done it again. Or I wish I would have done this before so that when my sister visited, I could have taken her to do it because it's really awesome. Or any of the other, things I could tell you, like, wow, I wish I had a little more time to save money to do this so that I could have had a better experience. That was maybe my biggest like light bulb aha moment of, ooh, let's be a little proactive about the things that you want to do and accomplish. And then you can be very dedicated. And maybe it is about setting a SMART goal, right? That super tedious and annoying practice, and yet also very helpful and impactful. So, specifically, what are you wanting to accomplish? How are you going to measure it? Is this attainable? It better be rewarding, or why are you spending time, money, or energy on it? There's got to be some return on that investment. So, what is it? Acknowledge what it is. And then time based, not everything has a deadline. Sometimes we put artificial deadlines on ourselves. But I think having a start time and having check ins for sure. And then, yes, maybe there is a deadline. It's a way to keep you on track. I don't know about you, and maybe you can validate this or not. When I have all the time in the world, I don't get anything done because why would I? I have all the time in the world. Why would I do it now? I can do it later. Why would I do it now when it can get done at some other time? Because all of a sudden, wait, I don't have time. How did that happen? That's why. I was a competitive gymnast growing up, and we had practice from 3 to 7. And one stretch of time at this point in life, Unbeknownst to us, my coach was timing us to see how much of that practice we were actually practicing, like on the equipment. I'm going to ask you, give me some ideas. Out of a 4 hour practice, 3 to 7, how many of those 4 hours do you think we were actually practicing? Give me some ideas. Um, let's see. We 20 minutes. Okay, it was way more than 20 minutes. Let's see. We got 1 hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, half an hour, 2 hours, 2 hours. For our practice, 2 hours. Yep. It was actually, it averaged out. He did it for a week and he did it based on all of us. So some were more, some were less, but it was 97 minutes. 97 minutes. So guess what happened? Practice got cut to 2 hours. And guess what? We got just as much done, because when you have less time to get it done, you get it done. So that was also like a big, like, wow, there's a lot of dilly-dallying going on, right? Now, clearly there has to be some rest in between. So that's why it's 2 hours, not 97-minute practice. But yeah, it was a huge life lesson as well. So putting some boundaries for yourself is super, super helpful. And I have used that information to help me be a way more effective manager of time going forward with all different tasks, all different kinds of things that I want to get done. So this is a nice little way to kind of sort some thoughts out for yourself. What is your goal? How are you going to accomplish this? What are your obstacles? You have to identify your specific obstacles. Otherwise, how are you going to create a strategy around the obstacle? So, maybe let's think about like New Year's resolutions, right? I'm gonna try to eat better. I'm gonna try to lose weight. I'm gonna try to get out of debt. Okay, first, none of those are goals, those are all statements. And that's kind of where it ends. So you're gonna try, and then, oh, well, didn't happen. I guess I failed. I guess I'll try harder next time. Well, I went down that road several times with various things. And at some point, I finally realized it's not that I'm failing, it's that I have failed to identify what my potential obstacles are. And I failed to create a strategy for that obstacle. So, again, going back to the planning, right? I have to plan, I have to think about things, I have to get to know myself, I have to evaluate, I have to foreshadow so that I can set myself up for success to be prepared for those things so I know what I do. Because otherwise, you're going to smack into a barrier and you're going to go home and say, oh, well. And that is almost always the way it goes. So, this is spending that time on the front end to figure out what you are going to do along the way to help get you through these challenges. And for sure, there's going to be times when you didn't know what you didn't know. That's called learning. Now, sometimes we smack into a barrier. We just say, oh, well, we don't learn. We just say, oh, well, I just didn't try hard enough. That's probably not it, actually. That probably isn't it. There's a reason. So think about your specific barriers, whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish. What are the potential barriers? What are you going to do for it? Um, the scheduling is critical. I truly don't understand how anybody gets through life without scheduling and writing things down. Again, maybe you have like 3 things going on in your life and that's it. That's pretty easy to organize. I don't know anybody who only has 3 things going on in their lives. I just don't. Um, so I was a big list maker. Make a list, love a list. But what I would find was happening was there were things on the list that kept showing up on the next list and the next list and the next list, and the list is great, but then there's things on the list not getting done, and then I have to think, well, why is that not getting done? Because I don't want to do it. That's usually why, because I don't want to do it. It's either yucky or it's physically challenging or it's too big and I can't do it yet, or it's so small, I'll do it later. So I realized, ooh, we're procrastinating. So procrastination is a big obstacle for a lot of people. I wonder, do I have any procrastinators in the crew? And if so, why are you procrastinating? Right? Again, there's various reasons. So when I identified, I'm glad, okay, I'm not the only one. Yes. So it was either I it was so big I need to do it later, right? I don't have time, can't do it now. It's so small, I can do it later. Or it's just yucky and I don't want to do it. So I've realized, okay, if it's so small I could do it later, just do it now. That way you can celebrate a win and you can get over it, right? Cross that thing off. So nice. It's so big, I need to do it later. Okay, well, this is where that planning ahead. I'm going to chunk it down, right? I'm going to chunk it into manageable size tasks. And then I'm going to have some self-management, put boundaries for myself on my planner. During this time, I'm going to do it here. I think about doing my taxes. I do my own taxes. TurboTax is amazing for that. And there was a time when I had a interior design business, I had my wellness business, I had 3 rental properties, and I had life. Now, none of that is complicated. There's just a lot of moving parts to all of it. So I'd be like, "Ugh, I gotta do my taxes. Ugh, I have to do my taxes every weekend. Oh, I should do my taxes. I really need to work on my taxes." And it's dread, right? And now it's like March 30th. I'm like, okay, I gotta do my taxes. And then lo and behold, there's a piece of information I don't have that I need, and now I can't do them. And here's April 15th, and now I gotta file an extension and all the stuff. All right, you know what? Let me start this over. I know one reason I didn't start my taxes was because I'm a football fan. I'm from Wisconsin, and we've been incredibly blessed with amazing teams for many decades who go far into the playoffs, even occasionally reaching the Super Bowl. Yes, not rubbing it in for any of you who don't have that experience, but I was very invested and got to keep my schedule free for football. So I realized, you know what? You are not going to do anything until after Super Bowl Sunday. Just know that and stop worrying about it. But here we come. Super Bowl Sunday is over. Okay, now it's time to dig in. And now we're going to be very methodical. We're going to find that time on the calendar. We're going to block it out. We're going to be very specific about what you're doing in that block of time. And you just pace yourself and you manage it that way. And here you go. You're accomplished and you're done well before April 15th. And then you don't even have to think about it anymore. This is probably not uncommon. Someone said, because I'm a perfectionist, if I can't do it all perfectly right now, I feel like I'm next to a wall. Yep. So I'll give you this example. This was many years ago. So my sister is an identified perfectionist. She has come a long way from breaking up with that. But 10 years, 12 years ago, we've been talking about going to London like for a long, long time. And my schedule is the kind that I have got to have that blocked out, or I'm going to book work like these things. And I can't just like spontaneously go, right? These things are booked months in advance. So I said to her, look, we're either going to go or we're going to stop talking about it. Well, she's a perfectionist, right? So she's waiting for the perfect time to go, the perfect time. And this is not the perfect time. And what if that's not the perfect time? This doesn't work and that, okay, well, how about this time? Well, I don't know. It's really hot at that. Okay. What about this? There's always a reason why it's not perfect. Well, then let's just stop talking about it. No, I really want to go. Okay. Let's pick a time. So we picked a time. We're going to go over 4th of July, 10 days at the end of June, early July. We make this decision in March. The minute it's made, of course, all of her what ifs, right? What if all these things are going to go wrong? What if, what if, what if? What if this? She's coming from Michigan, I'm coming from Colorado, we're rendezvousing in Chicago, we're flying together. What if you miss your flight? What if I miss my flight? I mean, we're world travelers. I bet we'll figure it out. It's fine. Like, yeah, that happens. We should assume we'll miss our flight because more often than not, you're going to. But hey, what if this flat that you rented is a scam and da 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 da? Gosh, well, gosh, that'll be awful. But I guess it'll be part of the story. We'll have credit cards. We'll find a place to stay. What if we go there and the weather is just this and that? Oh, well, I guess we'll be prepared. Like the weather isn't going to kill us most likely. So, but it's again, it's all this, it has to be perfect or why do it? So I could go on about all the things. Here's the moral of the story. You know what happened? All of the opposite things that she was afraid of. Not only did we not miss our flights, we both got upgraded to first class. Yeah, Chicago to London, first class, not bad. Yeah, that flat, not only was it not a scam, it was more incredible than we could have imagined because it didn't do it justice online. The location that we picked was couldn't have been more perfect. The weather couldn't have been more perfect. We were on Baby George watch. This was when Kate was having the first, the first prince. That was exciting. Andy Murray won Wimbledon. That never happened before. Like all these things, right? But what do? We what if the bad things. She never said, well, what if we get upgraded to first class? Well, what if when we're there, there's all this excitement because Andy Murray won? We don't what if that. So all of that stuff, you know what that does? Waste your time, waste your energy, especially when it's things that you can't control. You can't do anything about it. So that was actually a big point of inflection for her in her own relationship with perfectionism, because all of that anxiety that she built up for months and months and months, well, you don't reverse the anxiety, right? And it ended up none of it coming to fruition. So um, these things are critical, and for me a list is a start, but then everything go I'm super old school. Everything goes here. And my day planner, it's a pencil and paper because I need to see things so that I can build in buffers and build in time to recharge myself. So I'm not back to back to back to back. Yeah, I do some back to back things, but I don't go back to back all day, every day without like a break to go pee. When people are like, oh, I can't because I can't drink enough water because I don't have time to go to the bathroom. That is not okay. It is not okay to not allow for basic human functioning. So think about what we're going to do, right, to get through these life challenges. As far as the other things to procrastinate, if it's something that's yucky and it either has to be done or I'm going to choose to do it anyway, okay, then let me figure out, is it physically yucky, emotionally yucky, mentally yucky? What is it? And then let me prepare myself for that and let me find time on the calendar so that it's on the calendar and I can stop worrying about it, because when it's on my calendar, it's real. If it's not on your calendar, it's not real. It's just an idea in your head. That's why I think getting things out is so critical to help you see it and then help you stay accountable to doing it. So let's get into details on each of these things. The anxiety of failure, someone else mentioned. Yep. And I think that goes back to being a perfectionist, right? So here's my take on failure. I don't think failure is a thing. I believe you either successfully executed what you planned on, or there's a reason you didn't, and you get to learn about that. You get to learn something about yourself. Now, if you choose not to learn, I'm still not going to say you failed. I'm just going to say you chose not to learn. So maybe we just redefine and have a new approach to these things, and that helps get you over some of the reasons why we don't do things, right? So the organization, again, this is taking time on the front end to set yourself up for success. Whatever it is, there doesn't have to be a way that, a particular way, there just has to be a way, the way that works for you. There was a woman who shared in a class that every morning she would walk into her office, and even before she got there, because she knew what she was walking into, have all this anxiety, right, of the stuff on her desk, and I got to find this and I have to do that and all these things, and it's just like clogging her head. So she decided to set herself up for a good start. She's going to take time at the end of the day, the night before, to organize her desk, to clean everything up, to have it be a nice, visually, aesthetically pleasing environment for her to walk into, so that she walks in with a sense of peace and calm and organization versus walking in with a sense of chaos and all of a sudden just activating. I mean, many people do this. I know I've done this my whole life. My parents taught us this the night before. You get your clothes laid out for school, you have your lunch packed for school, you have your backpack packed for all the homework things you have to do. You do that checklist the night before. I don't care how tired you are, you're going to do that before you go to bed. Otherwise, you're going to start behind the eight ball in the morning. So it really just becomes a matter of when you do these things and what kind of peace in your mind, as well as how it resets your energy to take on these things. Managing, the emails, the notifications, the I'm going to touch this one time thing, right? So yeah, you let the mail pile up, but every Saturday at 10 a.m., you go through the mail, right? Or, okay, yes, there's things in your inbox that are not high priority. So, I don't know, Wednesday at 8 a.m., I'm going to just get through all of those things that I need to get through. Pick a system. Of course, a little bit of flexibility within the system is going to be necessary, but you start with a system so that you at least have a template with which to work with. Arranging your space so it is free of clutter. Your brain is busy organizing that clutter. When I was in college, it was very obvious when it was finals week because my dorm, my apartment, wherever I was living, was the cleanest ever. And I really thought at the time I was just procrastinating. I thought, oh, I just don't want to study. What I came to realize was I cannot think and focus when there's stuff because my brain is like, you should do that and take care of that. So even now, when I have to be creative, if I'm creating content or got to get a thoughtful email or my blog or whatever, I either go to an environment that is very peaceful and serene and calming, or I take the time to organize my space so that my brain can relax and focus on the creative part. Focus on, the thing that requires my mental energy. So that might be helpful as well. Make the list. So however you like to organize your lists, make those lists. And then I think you probably need to go a step further, right? Because the list can be overwhelming and you'll never finish the list. So maybe we have those high priority lists, right? The urgent, do it now list. And then maybe I have the on the horizon, do it later list. And I have a time to check in on that list. For me, I make the master list every Sunday, and then I go through my day planner, and everything that's on the master list finds a place on the day planner. Then I can throw the list away because it's got time and space that it's happening. And if it says call to make your doctor appointment at 3 o'clock, I'm going to call to make my doctor appointment because that's what I'm supposed to do. Versus this call to make your doctor appointment shows up every week on the list, every week on the list, because making a doctor appointment is annoying, much less going to the doctor, but like actually just calling to make the doctor appointment. No offense to my Penn State Health people, you know what I mean though, right? It's any kind of thing like that where you're going to have to be on the phone, be on hold, go through stuff, right? Um, any of that stuff that's going to require not only time, but probably your mental energy, your patience, that kind of stuff as well. If you can design your day to accomplish tasks when you are at your best for accomplishing those tasks, that is ideal. That's like amazing, right? But not everybody can. If I could just repeat the hours of 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. just on repeat, I would be, oh my gosh, the most productive, accomplished person in the world. Because those are my hours for everything, for my mental stuff, for my physical stuff, for my creative stuff, everything. Well, I also know that that time from 2 to 4, I'm not really at my best for a lot. So mostly I have a little bit of discernment to pick what I want to do between 2 and 4. I'll do things that don't require much. I'll do those robotic things like do my laundry or vacuum the house. Or maybe I'll just sit on the couch with my cat. That's okay too. I might even watch some Judge Judy because Judge Judy makes me happy. It's okay. You can have that downtime. Downtime is not doing nothing. Downtime is to reset you. When I do that, I find that from like 4 to 7, yeah, I can actually get a lot accomplished because I've allowed myself a little reset. So if you can build those things in, I think you'll find that you are much more focused and productive than if you just try to push through, push through, push through. I know my tell for me is when I get just like a ping pong or like a pinball machine, right? When I'm just like here, there, like just, okay, your brain clearly doesn't want to do any of it, and so let's just not do any of it. That's okay. Let's see, suggestions for people that don't have flexibility. Yeah, for someone who has to be productive between 2 and 4, you need to build in breaks somewhere, right? So whatever that looks like. So for me, because I do this, I'm usually working over lunchtime, right? These are lunch and learns. I know it's not lunch for me yet, but I teach 3 classes back to back going through my lunch. So you have to take a break, right? I don't take a break during this time, so I take a break from 2 to 4. Now, I could also choose to still work from 2 to 4. There's plenty of EAP trainings I could say yes to, and there are days when I teach 7 classes in a row. I don't do that very often, and I'm doing it less and less and less and less as I get older because I've chosen to do it less and less. And now, again, that's not always an option for everybody, but at some point, you have to choose you over the things that you need to do. Your human needs a break. Your human needs to have the ability to eat, to rest, to use the bathroom, to just go be outside in nature for a minute. So somewhere you got to build in those breaks. And again, if we can have even just a little bit of flexibility, depending on what type of productivity we have to have, then we will set our attitude in the right way. Because a lot of times it really is then about the mindset. When I have a day where I'm teaching 7 in a row, yeah, I get my mindset adjusted accordingly. And I fuel my body accordingly ahead of time. And I have little ways to make sure I still get fuel and breaks in, even in that 7 hours of back to back to back. So some of it is time management, some of it is self management, some of it is boundaries, some of it is making hard decisions. I think all of these things factor in at any given time. Activity planning, again, if you can do that, right? Think about how that would work in your life. Yeah, excellent question. How do you take breaks as a medical provider when patients are scheduled all day, every day? It's an unfortunate way the system is today, and I don't have an answer for you. I don't know. This might not be true. Maybe you can still say, I have a break from this time to this time. I don't know how much in control of your schedule you are. I think at some point we have to allow for that. Sometimes we say we can't. We can, we're just choosing not to because you have patients to serve, which of course, that's what we all are there for, because we need you, right? And yet I also want my medical providers to take breaks because if they don't, they're not going to be great for me. And I've seen that. I've had that experience. And so I know I don't have an answer for that. I wish I did. I wish I could wave the magic wand and have everybody understand that medical providers are people too. Just like teachers are people too, and they need breaks too. Every human needs a break at some point. I think it does come down to you setting the boundary for you and you learning to say no. You putting your human in front of other humans. And I know that's really hard. You're in the profession you are because you are a giving, caring, compassionate person who wants to help people. And yet, if you don't help yourself at some points, then you're not going to be of service to others eventually either. Let's see. Activity planning. So again, depending on what you can do and how you can work with this, I think that would be a good thing to evaluate. Let's see, would you consider a lunch and learn a break? Maybe. I think depending on what you are using it for, right? So I would say you've joined this one maybe to get points. I don't know if you all get points for your wellness lunch and learns, but clearly you're listening because you asked a question. So I think a break can be anything that can help nourish my spirit, my soul, and maybe this topic, because you're going to get one tip that's going to help you put a strategy in place that's going to be better. So yeah, right, it's time on the front end to save me some time things on the other end. So it could be. Hopefully you are, fueling yourself at the same time. I'm not opposed to multitasking by any means. Let's see, suggestions on procrastination or functional freeze. If there is, well, we talked about procrastination a little bit already. So, right, depending on the nature of the procrastination, it's too big, it's too small, I don't want to do it, it's yucky. You'll have to figure out how to manage each of those. Functional freeze is what, when you're overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, so I do nothing. Pick one thing. Pick one thing. That's it, right? Take the deep breath, pick one thing. Which thing should I pick? It doesn't matter. You have so many options. You just get to pick one, right? So that's our all or nothing brain, and that is 100% normal. That is all fight or flight. I can't do it all, so I do nothing. I don't know what to do, so I do nothing. Pick one thing. Just start there. That's it. Let's see. Strategies for not looking at phones when procrastinating. Put your phone away. I don't know. Like put it face down out of arm's reach. That's a self-management thing, right? That's you deciding. I know when I have to be creative, I have this nice little spot on my couch, looks over my beautiful view. That's where I like to sit with it. My phone is not near me. It is not near me because I don't need it. That's not the point of my time right now. My time right now is to what I need to get done, what I want to get done. And what I want to get done is not in here. It's somewhere else. So I just put things out of sight, out of mind. If it's not necessary for me to accomplish what I'm doing, then I don't need it within my reach. Best type of planner, electric or paper, whatever's best for you. When digital, planners first came out, people were like, oh, Michelle, you're such a dinosaur. Get with the times and get an online calendar. And I did that for like a week. I'm like, nope, doesn't work for me. I want to see everything because I know that, okay, even though there's this 2 hour chunk of time while it looks like I have nothing to do, no, you know what I'm doing? I'm preparing a meal. I'm eating. I'm decompressing. I'm sitting outside on my patio. I'm just laying on the floor with my cat. I'm doing things that are really, really necessary. So just because there is time in my space doesn't mean it needs to be filled up with something. And that's where, if other people are blocking your calendar or filling up your calendar, that is up to you to block it out. You're an important appointment, right? Have important appointments with yourself. Well, that's got to show up on the calendar. We only put important things on calendars. And if you are not on your calendar, you are telling yourself and the world that you are not important. You're the only person who's going to decide that you're important. Let's see. Yes, parking their phones in a parking spot. Oh, I love that. Like a little box or a drawer. Perfect idea. Love that. Yes. So take control, right? Appointments, meetings, somebody's got to be the ringleader of it. I don't know if y'all are in meetings and the meetings about meetings, and we're going to have another meeting about the meeting that we had about the meeting. And so figure out, do you need to be there or can you delegate someone to be there for you and they can bring back the highlights? Uh, Somebody's got to have that agenda. And then somebody has to be bold enough to rein it in when things are going askew. I live in a high rise. We have an HOA. Every now and then I go to the HOA meetings, hardly ever because it just turns into a mess. Well, we've had board members who just let people do what they want, say what they want for as long as they want because they don't want to interrupt. They want to give them their time. No, this is the agenda. This is why the meeting goes 4 hours and why people leave and nothing gets done. So now we have a board member who, if somebody goes astray, he will say, great point. I've made a note of it. That's not on our agenda this time. We'll put it on next time. End of story. So somebody who is bold enough to take control like that, it's not rude, it's not interrupting, it's about respecting everybody's time during this process. Uh, Managing conversations. So, these are tricky situations as well. I always will set the expectation up front. And whether this is an in person or it's on the phone, which we'll talk about in a moment, um I will say I really want to chat with you. I have 15 minutes. What can we accomplish in 15 minutes? I had somebody who was commenting that she gets nothing done during her workday because she's always putting out fires. I said, well, what's your role at work? Well, I'm in HR. Oh, so putting out fires is actually part of your job. So what do you mean you get nothing done? Sounds like you're doing your job. Well, of course, what she meant was all these things on her list. So we talked about, well, how can we manage these drop-in visits? Because always get interrupted was her thing, right? Well, I'd like to have an open door policy because I want people to feel like they can come to me whenever they want. Okay. And that's also causing you to not get these other things done. So what if we just put office hours, right? The office hours are this. If the door is open, I'm open for office hours. If the door is closed, I will post my office hours on the door. Please come back and see me unless this is an emergency. Obviously, if it's an emergency, yes, we're going to break the glass, right? Open the door. She said that felt very uncomfortable at first, but then not only did it help her, but it helped everyone else as well because now they had to manage their time and their calendars. Oh, she's only available during this time, this time. Okay, cool. Well, then I'll get my other things done at this time. And then I'm going to be at her door at this time, or I'm going to make an appointment with her at this time. And it really helped everybody. It really did. Understanding no. I know you've all heard no is a complete sentence. So learn the word no. Maybe no without a justification. And please, I think no without an apology is also okay. Uh, the I'm sorries, unless you did something wrong, I don't love it. I'm sorry. I don't love it when someone tells me they're sorry when they haven't done anything wrong. If you love the I'm sorry and you feel good saying that, okay. But I don't know. I don't think we need to apologize. No is okay. And maybe it's not a hard no. Maybe it's this is not a good time. I would love for you to circle back with me next week. Or I just have so much on my plate right now. As much as I would like to say yes, saying yes to you right now would not be fair because I will not be able to give you my best. So we can have different ways of saying it, but I think using that word a little more often is probably going to help a lot of people. Telephone time. So, oh my gosh, the messaging system. I don't know what y'all have going on there, but boy, please make the first option hit 0 to bypass this message. Can we just all agree, please? If you're not in control of that, then, I get it. But um, again, manage it. So if I have a phone call coming in and I know I have a meeting starting in 10 minutes, I'm probably not going to take the phone call. Or I'm going to send a text and say, hey, I have a meeting starting in 10 minutes. Did you need something? Is it urgent? And if it is, then let me know what it is, and then I'll figure out if I need to cancel the meeting or not. Usually it's not urgent. So I think also we can clear up a lot of this by us being proactive. If I'm leaving a message, hey, it's not urgent, just wanted to call and say hi and catch up. Or I'll send a text, hey, would love to catch up sometime. When's a good time for you? Or hey, I happen to be in the car in the next hour. By any chance, are you free? Let's catch up. Something, right? Because to think that I'm going to catch you at a moment when you're free and you're going to catch me at a moment when I'm free, it's probably just not realistic. And then nobody ends up calling anybody because, oh, she's probably busy, or oh, I'm sure she's still asleep, or so again, personal, professional, these can be obviously very different situations, but I think we can use the same strategies in a variety of places to just help manage everything all together and have a better experience for everybody. I think this goes back to my earlier statement in really getting clarity for yourself and getting clarity with other people, helping them get clarity. Outline, put real words on paper, your goals, values, priorities, your intentions, your core principles. That will help you see, okay, these are the ways I should devote my time, money, and energy. I started doing vision boards in 2015, and I used to roll my eyes at them. Really? I'm going to put a bunch of pictures and words on a poster board, and my life is going to be magical. Well, no, that's not how it works. So I started doing them because I would get to the end of the year and think, oh, I wish I would have done that. Oh, I could have done that. Where did the year go? How did I not do all these things I said I wanted to do? And, I learned that in college, but as life kind of does life, you start to lose track of some of that stuff. So I thought, okay, if I want to stop doing that at the end of the year, then at the beginning of the year, I should probably lay out, how do I want to spend this year? What matters to me? So I use a vision board as a way to declare my intentions. This is how I intend to spend my time, my money, and my energy. And I get clarity on that by fast forwarding my life to December 31st of that year and imagining, visualizing How do I want to be reflecting upon the year? What are things I want to be celebrating that I've accomplished? What are memories I want to be reliving? What are experiences I want to have had? What do I want to be proud of? What goals do I want to have reached? Okay, well, if that's all the things I want to reflect on, well, then at some point I got to do them. So the vision board is declaring those intentions, but it can't stop there. I then have to do. I have to do the do, right? So if I want to do all these things, we'll have to figure out, okay, well, what do I need to do them? And what are the obstacles I could face that will prevent me from doing them? And what are my strategies to overcome these obstacles? And then I keep looking over there because my vision board is right over there. I have it where I can see it. So every day I'm like, oh, am I doing that? Oh, wait. Oh, I said I was going to do that. Here we are, August 19th. I haven't even done that yet. Wait, what? Why? Oh, that's right, because that's not happening until September. Oh, okay, that's right. Or, oh, that was supposed to happen in March. Why haven't I done that? Oh, because it turns out I thought that was important to me. It's actually not. Other things have taken priority. Okay, cool. I can give myself grace on that. Or, oh, that's right. I forgot I said I wanted to do that. Well, let's get on the stick and revisit it now. So, all kinds of ways. And it doesn't have to be a vision board. You can use any kind of tool. But the point is, you probably would benefit by having some kind of tool, right? Speaking of tools, these toolkits are really great. If you have not yet explored them, I encourage you to do that. Utilize them to build these skills and build your toolkit, and then you have to use your tools. Of course, your EAP is a really great tool as well for you and your eligible family members. You have access to your licensed clinicians, as well as all the different types of consultations and resources that are out there. And here are the ways to connect. So, before we wrap up, I have a question for each of you. I would love to see, what do we have? 193 answers. Nobody gave themselves a 10 when it comes to being a time manager. So, one thing. What is one thing you are willing to devote time and attention to modify, to change, to adjust, whatever, to help you be a more effective manager of your time? Pop that in the chat. Let me know. If anyone wants to stay connected to me, betterbeings.net is where you find all the things. I have a podcast, blog, newsletter, socials, LinkedIn. You can find it all there. Love it. Adjust my list, avoid distractions, start using a planner, better organization on a daily basis, chunking, yay. Make lists and pick the one thing, love it. Make a list, planner, write things down, better list, chunking, do the more important things first, learn to say no. I love that. Here's my guess. You're really, really, really good at saying no because you say it to yourself all the time. So maybe you're not learning to say no, but you are giving permission to say yes to yourself. Think of that. Let's see, prioritize more, put the phone in a parking space, block out time, setting office hours. Love it. You all are fantastic. I mean, I truly do not say this to every group. You are always one of my favorite groups, and it's for this very reason. You're very engaged and you are willing to share. Oh, someone's going to stop saying sorry. Love that. I could go on. I think I got almost 193 answers. That's amazing. Yay. Thank you all. All righty. I am going to pass it back to Angela for some closing thoughts.
Yeah. No, thank you, Michelle. That was wonderful. And like she said, thank you to everyone for participating. Appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us. We will send a follow-up email with both the slides and the recording if you need to view any of this stuff at a later time. So with that, thank you all again. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.